For most of human history, you could not multiply two three-digit numbers without losing an entire afternoon. Not because people were dumb, because the tool for writing numbers down was fundamentally broken, and nobody had invented the piece that fixes it. That piece was zero. And it took civilization roughly 4,000 years to figure out that nothing could actually be written down as something. Here's the part that should mess with you a little. Zero wasn't obvious. It wasn't sitting there waiting to be noticed. Ancient mathematicians who were otherwise geniuses, people building pyramids, tracking planets, running empires, looked directly at the concept of nothing and just didn't write it down for thousands of years.
So the real question isn't who invented zero. It's why did it take so long and what changed? Buckle up, because this one gets genuinely unhinged. There's a point in the story where an entire city banned zero. Not taxed it, not regulated it, banned it like it was contraband. Around 300 BCE, Babylonian scribes had a real problem. Their number system was positional, meaning where a digit sat mattered, like how in 203, the position of each digit changes its value. But without a symbol for an empty position, 23 and 203 looked identical. You genuinely could not tell 23 from 203 just by looking at it. Their fix was a small double wedge mark, basically a placeholder that meant there's nothing in this slot, keep counting. It worked. But here's the catch. The Babylonians never let it be a number. It could sit in the middle of a number to hold a spot open, but it could never stand alone. Never be added, never be subtracted. It was a punctuation mark, not a value. Zero existed as a grammatical trick centuries before anyone let it actually mean it. Meanwhile, on the completely opposite side of the planet, with zero contact with Babylon, the Maya independently built their own concept of nothing into their calendar system, likely by the 4th century CE. Their symbol looked like a small shell shape, and they used it constantly in dates. This detail matters more than it sounds like it should. Humans invented the concept of nothing at least twice, completely independently, on 2 different continents. That's not a coincidence you can shrug off. It's evidence that once a number system gets complex enough, nothing stops being optional and starts being a mathematical necessity your brain basically forces you to invent. Here's where it gets revolutionary. Around 628 CE, an Indian mathematician named Brahmagupta did something nobody had done before. He wrote down actual rules for how zero behaves in arithmetic. A number plus 0 equals that number. A number minus itself equals 0. He was treating zero as a full citizen of the number system, something you could compute with, not just a gap you left in your notation. Zero in this tradition wasn't just practical either, it was philosophical. The Sanskrit word was shunya, meaning void or emptiness, tied directly to existing ideas in Indian philosophy about the nature of nothingness itself. Math and metaphysics were doing the same work at the same time, which is honestly a wild flex for a number. Brahmagupta did stumble on one problem that's still technically unsolved in the way he framed it. He tried to define what happens when you divide by 0, and got it wrong. Turns out that particular question breaks math in ways that took mathematicians another 1,000+ years to properly sort out. Even the person who revolutionized zero couldn't fully control it. Zero's next stop was the Islamic Golden Age. Scholars like Al-Khwarizmi, whose name is where we get the word algorithm, absorbed the Indian number system, 0 included, and refined it into the numeral system most of the world still uses today. The Arabic word for 0 was cipher. It's a few times, and you'll notice it's the direct ancestor of 2 English words, 0 itself and cipher, which originally meant 0, and later came to mean a secret code. That word drift isn't random. It happened because of what came next. In 1202, an Italian mathematician named Fibonacci published Liber Abaci, introducing Hindu-Arabic numerals, including 0, to Europe, arguing they were dramatically faster for merchants and bankers than Roman numerals. You'd think that would be an easy sell. It was not. In 1299, the city of Florence actually banned the use of Arabic numerals in official ledgers, 0 specifically included.
The stated fear, a 0, or a Z0, could be quietly altered into a 6 or a 9 with one extra stroke of a pen, in a way Roman numerals couldn't be forged nearly as easily. Cipher became slang for a secret, untrustworthy mark, a number that could lie to you. An entire concept got legally treated like counterfeit currency because the idea of a symbol representing nothing felt too abstract, too easy to abuse, too close to a trick. It took roughly 2 more centuries of merchants quietly using it anyway, because it was simply too useful to give up, before 0 fully won. Here's the part people skip past. 0 isn't just the number for nothing. Its real power is as a placeholder inside a positional number system, the thing that lets 10, 100, and 1000 all use the exact same 10 digits, just shifted in position. Without it, you need a completely different symbol for every possible magnitude of number, the way Roman numerals do, which is exactly why doing long division in Roman numerals is a special kind of nightmare. Once 0 was locked in as a true placeholder/number, it triggered a kind of mathematical action potential, a threshold that, once crossed, cascades into everything downstream. Algebra needed it. Negative numbers needed it as their anchor point. Calculus, centuries later, is fundamentally about what happens as quantities approach 0, and every single digital device you own runs on binary, a number system built entirely from ones and the same 0 that got banned in Florence for being too suspicious to trust. Here's the honestly strange part nobody fully resolves. Is 0 discovered, like it was always sitting out there waiting for humans to notice it? Or is it invented, a tool our brains built because we needed it and it happened to work? Physicists deal with a version of this same question when they talk about a true vacuum. Is empty space actually nothing, or is it something with its own properties? Mathematicians still argue about whether numbers exist independently of minds, or only exist because minds like ours needed a way to organize the world. 0 sits right at the center of that unresolved fight. The most useful number in the history of civilization is also the one nobody can fully explain the nature of. It's a genuine philosophical path unknown, and honestly, it might just stay that way. So, 0 took 2 independent civilizations to stumble into, one genius to turn into an actual number, one empire to spread it, and one entire European city to briefly ban out of pure paranoia. And somehow, all of that had to happen before you could do long division without wanting to lie down. Every calculator, every computer, every 10 you've ever written depends on a symbol that used to be treated like forged currency. You made it to the end, which means the exit fee is due. 1 subscribe. That's the toll. I'm flipping this tablet around like I'm expecting a tip on a bottle of water, and you're paying it in the form of a like. Don't, and I'm assuming your MHC molecules are incompatible with mine, and honestly, things are about to get real awkward between us. Stay wrinkly, apes. See ya.